Okay, we're continuing our discussion on electrolytes. And we have mentioned here a replacement of potassium is done with a potassium supplement called potassium chloride. And then you have an electrolyte replacement with sodium potassium chloride or citrate. All are very important. Okay, so potassium chloride. Um, Again, let's look over the definitions before we move forward. We're talking about anions, negative charged particles, cations, positive charged particles. Dissociation, when a compound breaks down and separates into smaller components. Electrolytes are defined as substances that in solution form ions and that conduct a electrical current. Extracellular fluid, the fluid outside the body's individual cells found in plasma, and tissue fluid. Is a tissue fluid, is a tissue intercellular fluid, cell fluid, and then ions are electrically charged particles, such as sodium, chloride, carbonate, potassium. Okay, let's look at gastrointestinal and urinary tract diseases. There's a few things that I will mention beforehand before looking at the individual drugs. Gastrointestinal agents are used to treat disorders of the stomach and or the intestines. The GI organs are intimately related to the digestive system as a whole. Well, the digestive system, if you look here, begins at the mouth, the esophagus, the stomach. You have what is called supportive digestive organs such as the liver, the gallbladder, the pancreas. After going from your stomach, it goes into the small intestines, and large intestines, rectum, and anus. Okay, so you should be familiar with the basic structures of the intestines. Okay, so different type of drugs you may have is, for example, enzymes, peptinase. So pepsin is normally present on gastric acid that breaks down proteins. However, in absence of pepsin, it is still possible for the digestive system to break down protein molecule into amino acids using the enzymes from the pancreas that are found in the small intestine. These enzymes are capable of attacking starches and fat. If a patient's conditions warrant treatment using enzyme therapy, such as diseases such as cystic fibrosis and chronic pancreatitis, products containing pancreatin can be helpful. And this particular drug consists of an enzyme that is called pancreatase. Another category that you find is antidiarrheals. So, first of all, diarrhea is a condition typically associated with watery stools that results from microorganism invasions, drugs and stress reactions, and or other circumstances causing a decrease in intestinal absorption of water and an increased secretion of electrolytes into the intestines or an excessive amount of mucus production. And one of the drugs that is very good and effective against diarrhea is called loperamide. Okay, that's the generic name, in Imodium is the brand name. You have what's called antiemetics, another class of drug that's associated with the urinary, gastrointestinal, and urinary tract agents. This class of drugs treat conditions of nausea and vomiting. An example of that is trimethylbenzamide. And then a urinary tract agent. is called Toridine. So Toridine is a urinary tract agent. So urinary agents are used to treat conditions affecting the flow of urine. Certain symptoms can include difficulty urinating, painful urination, urinary frequency, and obesity. Okay. All right. So that is very important. All right. Let's continue on with our gastrointestinal agents. We have antacids or anti-ulcer agents. Antacids generally composed of inorganic salts such as calcium carbonate, aluminum hydroxide, and magnesium hydroxide. And these are popular anti-ulcer agents that neutralize existing acid as opposed to inhibit its production. Okay. So one of the examples of that is ranitidine. Okay. And ranitidine is an anti-ulcer agent. Okay. And the brand name, of course, you have seen the commercial, is Zantac. So ranitidine, Zantac is an acid of anti-ulcer agent. And another way that this can be done is a protein pump inhibitor, an acid anti-ulcer, and a protein pump inhibitor is called omeprazole. And example of that is Polisat, another very popular drug that you find advertised on television a lot. So omeprazole, Polisat, is a protein pump inhibitor. It works by decreasing the amount of acid made in the stomach. Other gastrointestinal drugs are laxative or tooth softeners. These agents are commonly prescribed to treat constipation, the condition of dehydrated stool in which bowel movements are infrequent, hard, or painful or difficult. Aside from changing the patient's diet, food intake, and activity level, drug therapy may be suggested. And a good example of that is lactulose. And then you have stool softeners. Again, people that have constipation, difficulty stooling, stool softeners may be helpful. An example of that is docosahexaene sodium, and the brand name of that drug is Colace. It's a stool softener, also very popular drug. Let's go ahead and begin to look at hematological agents. First of all, let's have some background when we talk about hematological agents. Blood coagulation of clotting is a complex process. Each stage of the clot development can be affected by clotting factors as well as drugs. A major disease is called hemophilia A. Early on in the AIDS epidemic, many of these individuals, because they needed blood, was inadvertently infected. A particular drug that's very popular is called phytonadione, methadone, or vitamin K1. Is a drug that stimulates the liver to produce several kinds of stimulants the action of vitamin K, which is a natural clotting promoter. So when we talk about clotting, clotting has several different stages. The main stages of a natural clot formation dissolutions are thromboplastin. This is which is formed from the blood and the tissue. This is where you have platelet aggregation at the injury site. Thrombin, which is formed from prothrombin and thromboplastin. You have the fibrin is formed from a tribin acting on fibrinogen, which is clot formation. And then you have fibrinolysin, which breaks down fibrin. And this is when you don't need the client anymore. You have to take care of that particular opening, and you have the clot breakdown. Okay, so one of the drugs that you should be familiar with is called buromoxactone, and the brand name that is Ferraheme, and this is a hemopoietic drug. Another drug that's also part of this particular category is called tranexamic acid. The brand name is cyclopentone, and this is also a hemostatic agent. Okay. Other things that you should be familiar with in relationship to hematological agents are the following definitions. One, anemia, which means a decrease in hemoglobin of red blood cells. Clotting factors, this is the factors involved in blood coagulation process. Clotting factors, especially clotting factor X is missing in people with hemophilia A. Fibrinogen is factor I, part of the healing the clotting process. Hemopoietics are drugs to treat anemia. Hemostatic drugs are drugs that prevent excessive bleeding. Topical hemostatics are drugs used for minor bleeding when sutures are not appropriate. Okay, so hemopoietics are drugs that treat various forms of anemia by stimulating or helping to stimulate blood cell growth. Anemia is characterized by a decrease in hemoglobin of red blood cells, and basically that would lead to oxygen deficiency. So you want to reverse that. You have many different types of anemia, and sometimes they develop in elderly individuals. You can have iron deficiency. Sickle cell anemia is a genetic predisposition. It's usually inherited, and then we have what's called pernicious anemia, which is a vitamin B12 deficiency, and this is something that's very important in relationship to the formation of blood cells. You have to have vitamin B12. Hemostatic bloods again are used to treat or prevent excessive bleeding, and you may have what's called topical hemostatics, which is used for minor bleeding of small vessels and sutures, so that be appropriate. Okay, let's move on to hormones and modifiers. Again, let me share with you some background information dealing with this particular category. So when we talk about hormones, we're talking about substances that are secreted and are part of the endocrine system, the endocrine digestive system. These substances control and influence a selected organ or set of organs to produce an effect. The master gland is the pituitary gland, which was adapted earlier when we went over the body system as far as the lymphatic system. The endocrine system, because it regulates the activity of the entire endocrine system. You have the many different types of organs as part of the endocrine system. For example, we have the thyroid and parathyroid. We have the thymus, pancreas, adrenal glands, kidneys, gonads. In our next section, we will finish talking about the system.